Right, I think we are finally live.
Excellent.
I had some technical difficulties there, yeah. Could only apologise on my behalf. Great to be back. Keep everyone waiting there, 10 minutes. For anyone that has sat through that interval, many thanks. Great to have you on. And hopefully you've got all three of our faces, all in very different attire in very different locations. This is the first time we've all been live at the same time, I believe. So what could go wrong? Yeah, you got myself, Matt Pieman Hill. We've got Adam Smido Smith on the left in his Barcelona kit. And we've got Mr. Stephen Derbyshire looking very smart in his garden with a bottle of Estrella. All on hand to take your questions.
It's that Whitstable Bay.
Oh, there we go, yeah. He's moved on. He's moved. In the time the delay has taken, he's managed to move on to his next drink. Right, so we're here to preview this Saturday's racing. Adam, I know you didn't have too many strong opinions on this Saturday, and you're going to be leaning heavily on Mr. Derbyshire. Is that correct?
Well, in the last half an hour, Pieman, I must be honest, I've been very busy at work all week, but I have in the last half an hour developed some opinions. So away we go.
Great news. Great news. Well, I guess you want to just go straight through it chronologically. We're going through the ITV Racing card on Saturday, aren't we?
Yeah, so there's eight races on ITV Saturday. We've got a couple of big betting heats from Ripon, and their only ITV day of the year, I believe, one of SD's favourite racecourses, Ripon, including the Great St Wilfrid Handicap. We've got the Grey Horse Handicap at Newmarket, their only race on ITV. No interest in that from myself. One for the housewives, where all the competitors are grey horses, believe it or not. And then we've got Newbury, where the more quality action comes from, but some smaller fields. So plenty to go at. And like I say, a couple of opinions from me. I know SD's on a couple anti-posts and has got some strong opinions, as usual.
Yeah, strong opinions, that's what we're here for. And I'm just going to give a quick mention to Mr. SD before we go any further. I believe last week we had 3 winners put up and quite a sizable place. Do you want to just talk us through your results if you can remember them, Mr. Derbyshire?
Oh well, a lot's passed since then, hasn't it? So we had the 6-1 winner, didn't we? Whose name?
Cold Steer.
I mean, that absolutely wazzed up and just idled near the line. What else did we have? We had that lovely horse. What was it? That one in the last eight. I mean, if you could ever call a race like I did, it was absolutely perfect. He just front ran and turned them away. It was orgasmic. It really was. And
that was called Fools Rushing.
Watching, thanks for the 500 quid, Tim, because we had 100 on it. So it was a thoroughly profitable day.
Have you given it back this week? That's the question.
No. I have to say, I backed old school. What's the Wi-Fi code at Ripon on Monday, and that was 14. So there were a few losers as well, but it's been a decent week. Ripon Saturday and down to Chelmsford with my bucket and spade on Sunday, so that'll be fun. I think we've got a prize for Saturday as well, gentlemen, while everybody's had to wait. Oh. We'll go into that later.
Yeah, more info on that as we go. But
an exclusive.
Let's start it off with Newbury then. We've got the Denford Stakes, a listed race. 6 runners in this one, I believe. Who wants to take this first?
I'll go, Pieman.
Are you going?
Yeah, I'll go on the 145. Yeah. I thought this was quite straightforward. I really, really like a horse called Native Trail as a prospect for this season, what remains of this season and next season. And Messi Carlo got within a superlative, which was at the July meeting, a good 2-year-old race. I think that's really smart form. And I think as a result, Messi Carlo should be winning this race, but he is 5-4. So I'm going to go real left field, and SD will have an opinion, definitely, or a comment to make on this. It's a shame. It's a shame there's only 6 runners. But why the hell is Richard Hannon chucking one in a listed race on debut? Holiday. On debut at his local track. Is likely to be the outsider of the field or one of. There's surely plenty of maidens he could have found for this Julie Woods horse. And like I say, this local track, he loves the winner here, especially a 2-year-old. I just found it really interesting. He's from a family of 2-year-old winners. Group 2 and listed winners, both in his family from 2-year-olds, and he's 40-1 each way. SD?
Well, I think you've lost your marbles. He only cost £6,000. I think the owners want a day out, to be honest. So there we go. Look, I thought I had a look at this earlier in the week, and I was disappointed Bayside Boy was so short. I think Bayside Boy ran a race full of promise, and he'll probably win. I'd have Bayside Boy in a match bet with Baldings anyway. The Beckett horse, he won very easily at Salisbury, but he made hard work of it, and the jockey absolutely thrashed him that day. So, look, I'm not having a bet in the race, but I if you're forcing me for a selection, I'll say Bayside Boy, but no bet.
No bet for Mr. Derbyshire then, and Smido, you're looking at the outsider of the field. I mean, it's a little bit of a leap of faith, but at that price, we'll allow it, I think. Going to move it on again. And do keep your comments going in the chat box. I will just have a little look in the chat box before I go on. Got Simon Smith in the house there. Andrew Humphrey says, SD out in the West Wing Gardens. Alex Clark in the house says, great watch, guys. Great to have you in, Al. Do get us in your chat. Brendan Smith's in there as well, and Simon Smith. Giving me a bit of grief for delaying the stream there, Simon. Well deserved as well. I'll take that on the chin. On we go to the 2 o'clock then, Newmarket, and this is it's just a Phillies Handicap, and I've got 7 runners in front of me here on the Racing Post. Who wants to take this one first?
SD
on this one.
I thought this was a half decent race to bet in. I mean, you've got the biggest talking horse ever with Eileen Dover in it, and look, you can forget that one, but there's some really progressive types in this. That said, Makawee, whenever Makawee seems to run in a handicap, it runs very well. I mean, it won off 100 last year at Goodwood. I'd be backing Makawee off 101, certainly. And I thought, I don't know what price is. What is he, 15-2 or something? I thought that's a perfectly decent bet.
9-1. Dave O'Meara. Makawee better form over soft ground, or softer ground. SD, it's good to firm at Newmarket.
Oh, don't worry too much about that.
Yeah, well, I looked at this race, and it's got 3 red flags for me. It's a Phillies only race. It's over a mile and 6, and there's only 7 runners. So that's as far as my analysis goes on that one, Pieman. So there wouldn't
no opinion for you on that one, then, no?
Yeah, there wouldn't be any bet for me in that one.
Well, do let us know what you fancy in the chat if you had a look at these races yourself. Got quite a bit to get through, actually. So I think if you haven't got a strong opinion on that one, Smido, we'll move it on. We'll go over to Newbury now. Back to Newbury for what is a Group 3, the Geoffrey Freer Stakes. 8 runners running over 1 mile 5. Maybe a bit long for you again, Smido, is it, this kind of distance?
No, it's a decent enough race. I've raced that Hookham won last year. He's even money to. I've really quite fancied him last year. I remember backing him. Shame the channel wasn't going then, else we would have had a 4-1 winner on Hookham. SD took me on that day, Pieman, and he laid me an enhanced price on Hookham. Can you remember that one, SD? That was one of the rare victories over you.
Very rare, very rare.
Yeah, it was a good day that was.
It's a building now, big boy.
Yeah, it was. Never looked like losing that day. But I think there's quite an obvious one in here. I think Golden Pass is an obvious each way play. He's 6-1. There's the dead 8 runners. Battled on really gamely to win a decent enough listed race last time. He's only a 4-year-old. I just simply think he's a horse going places. And like I say, with the dead 8 runners, 6-1, this is another step up again. He's won at listed. He's been second in listed on his last 2 starts. He's in a Group 3 now. Carries less weight from Hookham, thanks to Hookham's penalty for winning a Group 3 himself last time. So the disparity in the official ratings between the two isn't as big as what it looks on paper. Yeah, I just think Golden Pass, can't see him outside the 3, and if he has the opportunity to lead, I think he might well relish that in this race. So yeah, Golden Pass against the favourite.
Bit of an each way play there. Then a little bit of value there. Open at 5-1 in the one that's showing prices at the moment. Hookham, even money as we speak. Can you get it beat, SD?
No, I don't think you get him beat. Golden Pass is, of course, a filly. She's not had a sex change since the Aphrodite had him. But look, realistically, they've all got quite a bit to find. This is a great historic race. I mean, we remember Silver Patriarch winning it in 1998, having been second in the Derby the year before. Presenting won it in 95. Hookham, of course, won it last year. I don't see this thing getting beat. It'll win by 2, and I can't be bothered trying to find an each-way alternative against it when you know some miserable trainer's going to say, oh, it's been dry at Newbury, and reduce it to 7 runners. So I've not played in the race, but I think Hookham is by far and away the likely winner and is priced accordingly.
Yeah, Hookham, quite a strong fancy, but no bet there, I don't think, for SD, and a bit of an each-way play for Adam. We'll move it on.
Simon Smith's saying there's an echo, so when we're not talking, let's go on mute, everybody.
Yeah, roger that. We will just flop back to Newmarket then. A 0 to 85 handicap. 10 runners here, 235. What are you fancying in this one, lads?
Well, this is the grey horse handicap. So yeah, novelty race in which I have no interest in, to be honest. 10 runners, 5 to 1 the field tells you pretty much all you need to know. Some real old boys in there that we've known for a while. Brian the Snail, George Bowen, Wentworth Falls. He's a 9-year-old. You know, it's a 3-year-old at the top of the market. But yeah, wouldn't be for me. I don't know whether SD fancies one in this. It might be a very quick analysis of the grey horse handicap.
Look, it's a novelty race. At least it doesn't drag on like the racing league for months at a time. I mean, look, it's on ITV. I thought Devil's Angel at the prices was a fair bet. There's no obvious reason why Devil's Angel shouldn't run its race. It's only up 3 for winning last time in a very similar race. I mean, it is moderate, but it's probably worth backing Devil's Angel at the prices with lovely Megan Nichols on.
Okay, and Devil's Angel there is a bet for SD, I think, but no bet for Smido. He thinks it's a bit of a novelty race to be avoided there. We'll move back to Newbury for the 255, which is it's just another handicap, a 0 to 95, bang on 8 runners, so there must be some each-way value here.
Yeah, I was hoping SD might go first here because another race for me with very little opinion. But I will tell you one thing: Magical Wish, his most recent win at Goodwood, which was in a decent race, he needs that upgrading that effort because he actually tried to bite another horse inside the last 50 yards. Magical Wish and still won. He's about 13 to 2 for this. It's a 7 furlong handicap, pretty open. Clive Cox has got one at the top of the market, very much unexposed. Aratus is only going to be making his 4th start, so that'll be the sexy one. But yeah, just look at the replay of Magical Wish's last win. I think it even says in the comments, disputing second when tried to bite rival, final 110 yards, kept on to lead final stride. So I like him just for the pure fact that he tried to bite another horse in the middle of a race.
Yeah, I'll pass you over to SD then, yeah. We may be on mute.
I'll unmute myself. That's much better. Anything trained by R. Hannon is instantly upgraded by about £5 by Mr. Smith because he absolutely loves R. Hannon. When there was that helicopter crash at Haydock, I've never seen him as upset in my life. But thankfully, Richard was fine and he goes on. So anyway, I thought that Starshiba of David Ellsworth was a decent bet here. He was second to Pareto at Goodwood over 7. He was actually quite heavily punted last time in the big 7 furlong handicap on King George. They didn't do much, but an unexperienced rider was on there. He's down 2 for that. Now, Pareto has been 3rd, I think, in a Group 3 at Salisbury today. And I could just see this thing running really quite well. What is he? He was 20s earlier in the week. I think he's probably still just about a double-figure prize, and he may well reward some each-way support. So I'd be quite cute on this thing of Ellsworth, this Starshiba. Very, very happy to go with him.
I've got 9 to 1 in front of me here for Starshiba. Would that still be a backable price for yourself?
Yeah, I mean anything over 7's a perfectly backable price on the rated. Look, there's some really sexy horses in this. Unexposed types, but Starshiba has it in the book on that run at Goodwood, and at the prices, he's very much a bet.
Starshiba, then quite a strong case made for that one. I quite like the sound of that. Over to Ripon, where I believe you're going to be yourself on Saturday, Mr. Derbyshire. So 3:10, we have the Silver Trophy Handicap consolation rate for the Great St Wilfrid 20 runner field to get stuck into here. Where are you looking?
Well, the thing I would say about this race is I did the form earlier today. You can only do it on the day because you don't know what nurse going to run. There's very few horses. I think it's going to quicken up at Ripon. You can see it here. But we are 70 miles from Ripon, but we're in the same sort of weather stream, and it's absolutely tropical outside. It's not raining. It's lovely. There's a key race here. Mr. Wagyu ran in it at York. And I think Fortymore also ran in it. And that race has produced 4 subsequent winners. And there are some horses, such as Danzan, which have gone on since and either won or run very well. And as a result, their handicap mark has gone up. True Mason hasn't run since. He's got more aids on him than a Paralympian. But he may well run very, very well. He ran perfectly all right at York. He was checked. He was third the time before between, I think it was to Punchbowl Flyer at Haydock. All that collateral form works very well. And he's one of the few who will appreciate quickening conditions. There's a lot of soft ground horses in this race. Horses like Bossy Pop wouldn't be any good on fast ground. Citron Major also has a chance. But is priced accordingly. And just one thing on Fortymore, which is the race he won is traditionally a very good trial for the Great St Wilfrid, which we'll come on to in a bit. But there was a pace collapse that day. They went too quick, and as a result, Fortymore won and has gone up in the weights, ran in the aforementioned York handicap. So I think the value, True Mason's 26 places, or he certainly was earlier. I had a good dose on that, and I may well go in again.
Like it, really like it. What a thorough analysis conducted by, and credited in the chat, I think, by Lee Jones, who says, "My God, he loves racing." Yeah, I mean that's pretty high praise. We've got the big guns in here. Got the big guns in on doubles and trebles now. You know, no messing around with the basics.
Seen him post Lee Jones. If anything around there, look at the Racing Post from Monday.
Okay, as Simon Smith says, no Probert on Saturday as he's riding Tasman Bay in Derville. Adam's gone back to you there in the chat about that one. And Centre Circle podcast, good to see Pieman back. Very, very kind, Centre Circle. Always glad to please the masses where we can.
8 wins for Probert at Foss over 2 days.
Yeah, there you go. Adam, you're on mute, but I would like some insight for you on this race if you can.
Look, this race should not be a Class 2, this consolation race for the St Wilfrid. The top horse is rated 88, the bottom horse is rated 75. Now, I know SD is going to talk to me about the ins and outs and technicalities of a consolation race. Well, I've got an answer for that. Don't have a bloody consolation race for it. Class 2 with the bottom weight 75 and the top weight 88 is not good if you ask me. But SD has made a very strong case for True Mason. I did have a quick scan through the race, and I think he's right. He's around 20 to 1. The form from earlier in the season has very much been boosted for True Mason, and the only difference is that True Mason has not ran again since then. That was on July the 10th at York. It's always competitive, good handicaps at York. He may have finished 7th, True Mason, but he only got beat 3 1/4 lengths. In a typical 6 furlong cavalry charge at York. So I wouldn't put anyone off that at 20 to 1. But there's no official selection from me, and I would encourage you to follow Mr. SD on that one.
Yeah, I think I would as well, to be honest. I mean, if you can't pick a hole in it, he made a convincing case for it, and we're loving the price at 20 to 1 for True Mason. We will move it on. We've got a couple more races to get through before I run through the lads' best bets for the Saturday action. Back over to Newbury Fen for the Hungerford Stakes, a Group 2. 11 runners currently. Who wants to take this one first? Any strong opinions for you, Smido? You've been a bit it's on the fence, I would say, this evening.
No, but I've got a strong opinion here. Alsa Hale is the wrong favourite. I think 7 furlong could be too short for him. He's only raced once in the UK this year. I think he's worth taking on. He's 11 to 4. There's better value elsewhere. There's 11 runners, so you're going to get the each way. Someone might go 4 places if they're feeling generous. They might not. I wouldn't argue with anyone at all that wants to back any of the 2, the 3 hand-down runners, but the 2 near the top of the market, Danyar and Mutakeo. I wouldn't put anyone off backing them. I thought they both ran stormers at Ascot last time off big weights. Danyar obviously won that race. I think I put him up actually. I think SD definitely did. Daniel, to win. That was over 7 furlongs at Ascot. That was in a Group 2, but they're stepping up here to a Group 3. But putting in a performance like that, he's got the rating to back it up now as well. Daniel, I wouldn't put anyone off him, and I think he's still reasonably unexposed in comparison to some others. Makawee, I mean, to even be running last time off 112 in a handicap, is either ridiculous from a horse placement point of view, because I don't think any horse has won a handicap over that kind of distance of 112 in this country for a very, very long time. But the time before that, he won a good handicap, the Bunbury Cup. Again, over 7 furlongs off the time before, off 109. A monster performance. To win the Bunbury Cup by over 3 lengths off 109 is a monster performance. He looked, and that's why his rating's gone up since. I thought he was excellent. He's now rated 117, so he obviously can't run in handicaps of this weight. So, but yeah, I just thought he ran a really good race in Ascot, despite finishing 6th. Like you say, he was carrying more weight than everyone else. Makawee, he was going really well. Led at the 2 furlong pole, and it has just tapered out a little bit to finish 6th, only beaten 3 lengths overall. So I won't put anyone off them. But the horse I am putting up is Tactical, 18-1. Obviously, it is a bit more of a flyer in comparison to the other ones near the top of the market. But like I say, he's 18.
20-1 in front of me if you want it.
20-1, take it. I just think that Tactical 7 furlongs is definitely his trip. He was last seen over 8 furlongs at Goodwood on what was pretty soft ground at the time, behind the one and only Baid. No way near winning that race. But yeah, I think Newbury is a track that suits him. He was 3rd earlier in the season, behind Creative Force. I just think, Tactical, it's quite close on the ratings between most of them in this field, and he's rated 110 Tactical, and the favourites rated 111. I see no reason why not to back him each way.
Tactical then at quite a big price, 20-1 for Smido, as I lose my voice there midway through. SD, I'm just going to, before you talk us through your selection, we have had a comment saying that Dreamloper, they fancy Dreamloper in the Hungerford. Could you put them off that?
He's a better horse than Ascot. I'm just about to. I do half agree with your analysis here, Mr. Smith, i.e., that this thing is the wrong favourite. I couldn't see a reason why this thing was so short. Look, Makawee, just a point on that, he's far better in these cavalry charge handicaps, finding trouble and storming down the outside lane. And I think that might explain his official rating. In a race like this, I'd be concerned. Look, if you go back far enough, and it's not that long ago, the Nell Gwyn Sacred beat Saffron Beach, which of course was 2nd in the Guineas. That's pretty good form, and that might be enough to win a race like this. Now, Willie Haggis is on fire more than Sicily at the moment. He's absolutely flying. He's 40%. Mark Wan's on, full of confidence. I think Sacred's a very good bet here. And yes, I'll be inclined to lay the favourite. They did have Space Blues in this race. You knew in the week when the bookies started pushing it out that Space Blues wasn't going to run, so they had a bit of inside info. But this Jolly is a dreadful price. Danyard, yes, chance. I think similar comments apply in that he might be better in a bigger field. But I was on at Ascot last time. Smith wasn't. That was an act of fiction he's just told you. He never put it up on here. I of course take all the credit for that. But,
that's true. Yeah, that's true.
It's sacred. It's Sacred's day on Saturday in the Hungerford, I think. And I didn't think it was a particularly good race. They should have run Kinross in it instead of mucking around in France last weekend.
Just on Sacred, it's only been seen twice this year. I think she very much, if the weather stays dry, she'll very much enjoy that. I think she's much better on quick ground. But yeah, decent enough form from earlier in the season. But we've just not seen enough of her this year, have we, Sacred? She's been entered. She's been a non-runner due to the ground. I mean, the last twice she was entered at Royal Ascot on that Friday. It absolutely wazzed it down. It was biblical, heavy. And then she was entered in the Group 3 at Goodwood a couple of weeks ago, and again it rained, and a non-runner due to the unsuitable ground. So yeah, if the sun keeps shining, Sacred's price will continue to shorten.
We're only 160 miles from Newbury, and it's lovely here.
There you go. I mean, you don't get these live weather forecasts with the visual as well. I mean, this is quite exclusive content we've got. So Sacred there 8-1, and a word for Tactical there at 20-1. That's 2-0. We've got strong word for the second and the third in the betting. So I think the overriding feeling is to take on the favourite if you're having a go in this race. That seems to be the approach. Now, we do have one more race to go to before we wrap up our best bets. If you've got your best bet for the weekend, drop it in the chat and I'll run through them before we wrap up. But we're back off to Ripon for the 3:45. The Great St Wilfrid. 20 runners. This is the big one. Where are we going? SD, start us off, please.
What a great race it is. I mean, I remember Hard to Figure winning it. I remember back in Jamaica when he won it at 18s. I think Hard to Figure won it in 92. It's an absolutely cracking contest. And of course, I was on Staxton last year. Now, I sent a text to Adam. Some of us can't get on with certain bookmakers, so I would never advocate this. But I'm basically telling him to back Staxton at the start of the week at 14s. Paul Keeley in the weekend came out with an absolute load of guff, saying that he didn't think it was in any form. Now, look, the case for Staxton is very simple. He loves Ripon. He's a pound higher than he won earlier in the year. Had he continued to progress, I'm not accusing Tim Easterby of anything here, his handicap mark would have been too high for his Gold Cup, and this is his Gold Cup. I was very happy. I thought this morning I want to be drawn low in a race like this. I either be on the far side. He won the stand side last year, but there was a budgies what's it in it at the end. I think he's still a bet at sevens, and I'd probably back him at 5-1. To be honest, I really do think Staxton will win the Great St Wilfrid. I'm not even going to put another horse up. I think you just go all in on Staxton. You play the sexy places, and you back him with no bet. It's very simple.
That is very simple, and I honestly, looking at the size of the field, I didn't think we were going to be that succinct with it, but there we are. Adam, would you? Well, firstly, I'll have your thoughts on Staxton, please. The selection of your colleague.
It's through gritted teeth, Pieman, right? Because I've been sulking because I've been losing. And SD texts me Monday and he says Staxton, right? And he's backed Staxton on my account at 14-1 each way, and I have 0 pence on it, 0. So just to let everyone know that to compound my bad run, Staxton will win on Saturday. I'll have an account with £300 of SD's money in it. I'll have to withdraw it and send it over to him, and I will probably be crying while I do it. But no, in fairness, we did back Staxton last year. SD put me onto it last year, and last year I was in a better mood and I backed it and it won. Like I say, on the opposite side, and it was close towards the end. But like I say, I don't like giving him too much credit because I don't want his head to get big. But he said start of the week Staxton was too big at 14-1. It's now 7-1. Probably could go off shorter, but. I'll be taking it on with a horse called Golden Apollo. Right. This horse has not ran at his peak for a while, right?
You've just had a bit of backup in the chat there. Brendan Smith has just put Golden Apollo in the chat.
Yeah. So Golden Apollo, I mean, he's been running off as high as 99, but that was, 3 years ago in 2018, don't get me wrong. He's now of a mark of 86. He was hampered almost to a standstill in a race he probably wasn't going to win in the Excellent Racing League a couple of weeks ago. He hasn't been beaten for on any of his last 4 starts, and as ever with these races, you're going to need some luck with the draw, the pace, whatever it may be. You need everything to fall right for you in a race like this. But Golden Apollo's 20-1. There's going to be some enhanced each way places on there. And I hope that Golden Apollo just nods Staxton on the line. That'll be nice. 20-1.
25 4 places here if you want.
Oh, there you go.
He's only been 11th in the last 2 years. I mean, Richard Hughes, as much as I don't like Richard Hughes, made a very good point in his Racing Post column about 5 or 6 years ago. And Ripon has something called ridges, which they're undulations. And a lot of horses do not go at Ripon. And I've put Golden Apollo probably in that bracket, which is why Staxton will win. So there.
Yeah, definitive. Somebody did ask about the ground potentially being a bit lively for Staxton. Anything on that?
I wouldn't be too concerned about that. He won on Good to Firm earlier in the year at Ripon, so that wouldn't put me off. I mean, it was fast round when he won. He just loves Ripon. He nearly loves Ripon as much as me now. Now they've actually got proper tote betting facilities again.
Yeah, I remember that rumbling on from a few years ago. I'm glad to hear that's been resolved. Right, so I think we'll just wrap it up. But just big thanks to everyone that's been in the chat tonight. It has been quite lively with Joseph Connolly, Brendan Smith, Lee McGrath, Centre Circle Podcast, Lee Jones, etc. So thanks very much for getting involved. If you have got a best bet for the weekend,
others elsewhere, Pieman. You know, there's a lot of others elsewhere.
Yeah, well, I actually have a graph in front of me of how many concurrent viewers we have as we go, and I can tell you that graph is only going in one direction, and it's up and up and up. Mr. SD is bringing the punters through the door to doubles and trebles, and it's with the definitive selections like Staxton. I think that's what the people come for, you know. They come for the vague opinions, and then they stay for the solid winners.
They don't want Mr. Smith sat on the fence with sore testicles, you know. Sat on the fence, he is.
Yeah,
SD. When I'm confident on one, I will tell you. You know, was confident on one at Goodwood, put it up as a 2 points win the first time ever. Obviously, it came second. But, you know, when I'm confident on one, the doubles and trebles spreadsheet continues to show profit on racing and has only been boosted since the arrival of SD.
I know, yeah.
It's great.
There's a tiny bit
through the ways.
Let's go through the best bets, if you don't mind. I'm going to start with Mr. SD. I felt like he had stronger opinions than
Pieman, we usually do an around the UK with SD, so we'll go to some far-flung place now, like Hexham or somewhere like that.
Let's hear it then.
Hexham don't race till the 31st of August. They should have more summer jumping, of course. Great track. Right, let's go quickly. We'll start Sod Newbury. Nobody's priced the Hornblower up, which is a 240 at Ripon, but I was there when Dynamic Force won, and he won in the style of a very good horse. He'd be a bet if he was odds against, but I wouldn't be too strong on that. Perth. Now this is the problem. Now Billy Hill are supposed to price up Class 4 and above races, and of course they haven't priced the Class 2 up at Perth. Island Nations are better than anything at 6 to 4 or above. I was at Perth when this thing won. It won doing handstands. The handicapper, whilst on paper he's put it up 10, he could have put it up 20 to still have won. There's not much in the race. You've got people like Bino in it, who I put up the other week, didn't win. Quickly, the 3 o'clock at Sunny Donny. Now, Hills have priced this race up, and they've priced it wrong. Repartee is 14 to 1. Now, he ran a perfectly good race in the Lincoln Trial earlier in the year. He won a listed race at Windsor on fast ground. It's going to be lightning fast at Donny on Saturday last year. He's been second at Donny before in the big sales race, and he's 14th with Andrea Razzini on. I think that's an absolute stonking bet. And we'll go finally down to Bath, where we do have a prize for people. And I thought Overwrite, who is in the expert care of Mr. Johnston, he's now off 80. He's won a race this year off 87.
He's backed this about 15 times in his career, Overwrite SD. Look,
I was at Windsor when he ran off 86. He ran perfectly well there. He's down to 80. Off top weight, this is a lot easier than he's been running in, and I think he'll win with the lovely Scot Nicola Curry on. So there you go.
God, I did enjoy that. I really enjoyed that. I couldn't keep up with the notes quick enough. I'll have to watch it. I'll have to watch the replays. I'm sure many will be. But lads, before we get off, I do want to just round up some best bets. Could you give me a nap each for Saturday's racing? Smido, lead the way.
Well, mine are all each way. I've put 4 horses up all each way.
You get off that fence. Come on.
They're all each way, man. Sod it then. We'll just go Holiday 40 to 1 on debut.
Okay. 40 to 1 that. Head in hands moment for you, Colin.
Back Staxton. Just back Staxton.
I thought you might say that.
Staxton will win.
I thought you might say that. And we have got some each way value. Do you want to just is there any that you want to just recap for the viewers before we wind up?
Yeah, go on then. So Holiday each way on debut in the listed race 40 to 1. Golden Pass each way against Hookham 5 to 1. I think can't see that outside the first 3. Tactical each way 20 to 1 in the Hungerford, and Golden Apollo 25 to 1 each way at Ripon. Hopefully beating Staxton, because if Staxton wins, I'll probably cry.
Perfect. And I think if I run through SD selections, we'll be going till about 10 p.m. But yeah,
Staxton. The lights going here.
Staxton the best bet for you. Staxton the best bet for you.
And a couple of things, Pieman, before we wrap up.
Yep.
Please do watch our video that we put up this week with Mike Holden.
Oh yeah, please do.
Really something quite different that we've done. Decent amount of effort's gone into that from Pieman and Mike himself. So yeah, please watch that. There's going to be 4 instalments in total, so that's good. We're back tomorrow night if Pieman can get his technology and his timing right. We're back tomorrow night at 8:30 for the darts, for a bit of a darts chat. And then York's on next week. I don't do York personally, but I don't know whether SD might want to have a chat through some York on possibly Tuesday night. So yeah, look out for next week as well.
Great. Nice. You said Tuesday. I think I'm going to Bangor on Monday evening.
Maybe you want to take some Bangor on Monday if you want.
So he's going to Ripon on Saturday, Chelmsford on Sunday, and Bangor on Monday. That's a good effort.
It's a serious triple header, that. One time it would be nice to do if we could do some kind of feature on how many miles you reckon you rack up on the races annually.
Well, I love spreading the pollution. This government doesn't like diesel cars. Well, I do. Look at your miles per gallon, lads. And if you're on the A14, kindly be in the first lane on Sunday.
I think we're now at the point of no return with this stream. I'm going to wrap it up.
Oh, prize, Adam. Mention the prize.
Come on, what's the prize?
Right. For anyone in the comments or the chat that can state the horse that SD has napped, it's in the Great St Wilfrid. There is 1 ticket to Bath Ladies' Day on offer that will be posted out to basically whoever wants it out of the 25 people that will watch this video. If you want to go to Bath on Ladies' Day, SD will provide you with a ticket.
31 quid to get in. SD's giving it you for nothing.
It's this Saturday.
It's this Saturday. It'll be a lovely evening at Bath. Plenty of posh totty there for you to tap.
Are you going to get this ticket to them?
Email.
It's an email ticket, right? Basically,
I'll be having it if no one else does.
Anyone in the chat that wants to go to Bath.
Racecourses in Kent.
Oh no, yeah, tell me about it. Lingers is about local for me. Right, well, there you go. We've got a ticket for Bath up for grabs. Let's have you in the comments and let's have you in the chat. I never thought I'd be finishing the stream with that kind of proposal, but there we go. If you want to go to Bath, this is the channel to do it. So that's all we've got time for this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to be back in the mix and a real eclectic mix of selections and discussion. Thanks for joining us, and I'm sure we'll be back again very, very soon as a trio. So thanks for watching. Take care.
Are we off?
Yeah, we're off.